Hello and welcome to another little bit of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday the 2nd of April 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's see what we've got today. I'm just going to put this bit together because I've just been doing some research on evidence of who Satoshi Nakamoto might be. We all know anyway, but I've literally come across some damning evidence, and it's kind of obvious, as we always know. But you know, shitcoin is shit for brains, can't really put two and two together. But it's interesting for us who are awake to actually know this. So let's just jump straight into it.
See Satoshi like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, so let's start off with this one here. And again, it looks to me like Gizmodo are actually editing some of their articles, like misleading, like spelling email addresses wrong and stuff like that. But let's just start off with here. This was an article called "Here's All the Evidence That Craig Wright Invented Bitcoin," and that was initially released on the 9th of December 2015. You know, there's quite a bit here. So let's start off with here. It says the hacked documents include a transcript of Wright discussing Bitcoin with the Australian Tax Office. The transcript shows Wright saying he had been running Bitcoin since 2009. From the same trove of documents, emails apparently sent from Wright to his friend David Kleiman show Wright asking Kleiman to edit a paper on Bitcoin months before the famous Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin paper came out in November 2018. Well, it was October actually, but anyway, October 31st, 2008, but they're saying November 2008. In a now deleted August 2008 post from Wright's blog, Wired reports that Wright referenced plans to publish a cryptocurrency paper, as well as Triple Entry Accounting, which is the name of a paper by cryptographer Ian Grigg that teases out ideas similar to Bitcoin. And again, they've put a G in the place of where they had all these images. So they had Craig's Facebook post and all. So they're deleting images, they're deleting history because they don't want people to know about it. It continues, they said, in a November 2008 blog accessed by Wired, Wright tells people to contact him with PGP key associated with the Satoshi N at vistomail.com. So again, this email address, I think they've changed it, because it was Satoshi N at GMXmail, whereas this is just Satoshi at vistomail.com. So I think they've changed it. I think they've changed it on purpose here, and we'll see why later. Wired also pulled up an archive copy of a blog post from Wright dated January 10th, 2009, saying the beta of Bitcoin is live tomorrow. This is decentralized. We try until it works. It reads, as Wired points out, in the Wright's Australian time zone, this post would have gone up on January the 9th, 2009, prior to Bitcoin's launch in Eastern Standard Time. Wired notes that the post appears to have been edited since October 2013 and June 2014. Again, and I've got that, luckily. I screenshotted it before they've taken it down, but they've taken it down. It's outrageous. Wright appears to have replaced the text of that original post with the following message: Bitcoin, aka a bloody nosy UB. It does always surprise me how at times the best place to hide is right in the open. It was deleted sometime after October 2015. In another email, Wright complains to Kleiman, I cannot do this Satoshi bit anymore. They no longer listen. I'm better as a myth. When asked about the contents of the emails obtained by Gizmodo, Wright asked Gizmodo, where did you... and this is Craig saying, look, where did you get that? And confirmed that the receipts copied on one of the emails were his attorney, accountant, and co-worker. And so this was Craig actually using Satoshi at Vistomail, not Satoshi N at Vistomail, as they claim here. So they're, again, changing little bits here and there. Wired found a liquidation report of one of the companies Wright founded, Hotwire. The report is available on the website of a corporate advisory firm, McGrath-Nicole, and shows that Wright used $23 million in Bitcoin to back Hotwire. Gizmodo tipster provided an unfinished legal draft that shows Kleiman and Wright forming a Seychelles-based Bitcoin trust with 1,100,111 Bitcoin. The estimated number of Satoshis has stashed at 1 million. The legal draft lists 5 PGP keys for managing the trust. Looking for those keys in a public database pulls up 1 for Wright, 1 for Kleiman, and 2 for Satoshi Nakamoto. The draft also shows Kleiman agreeing that he will not divulge the origins of the Satoshi N at GMX account. See, that's a genuine email there. That got hijacked. This is the email account Satoshi Nakamoto used to publish the Bitcoin white paper. After Kleiman died in 2013, his business partners received a document with an Australian a return address informing them that Kleiman was no longer legally affiliated with the company called W&K Info Defense Research. After his death, CoinEx, one of Wright's businesses, was listed as an authorized person after the company was reinstated as a limited liability something. From the hacked documents, the minutes from the meeting between the Australian tax organisation and Wright's attorney, Wright's accountant states that Kleiman and Wright founded the company, and it was a Bitcoin mining operation. And it goes on. So just moving on to this article here by Intelligentsia, saying investigation, Satoshi Nakamoto, mysterious inventor of Bitcoin, is probably an Australian computer genius named Craig Wright. Down here it says about leaked emails. There we go. Now they're using the correct one, Satoshi at vistomail.com. So they say leaked emails appear to show Wright in control of the Satoshi at vistomail.com email address that Nakamoto used in the early days of Bitcoin Converse. Wright spoke to Gizmodo twice via phone, appearing to confirm the leak's authenticity. The audibly unsettled Wright asked, "How did you get that?" and stated, "You shouldn't have that." Acquaintances of Wright mentioned in the email were uniformly cagey and unresponsive on whether Wright had invented Bitcoin, but did not deny the assertion. Also included in the cache of leaked documents cited both by Wired and Gizmodo is a transcript of a meeting Wright had with the Australian Tax Office, attempting to persuade the government to treat Bitcoin as currency instead of another type of asset, and therefore subject to lower tax rate. According to the transcript, he said, "I did my best to try and hide the fact that I've been running Bitcoin since 2009, but by the end of this, I think half the world is going to bloody know." So that was Intelligentsia, and they've actually got the email address there of Satoshi at vistomail.com. And if we look at this article here, and this was titled "The Australian Says He and His Dead Friend Invented Bitcoin." We'll go down here a bit. It says, last year, Wright publicly announced his plan to establish the world's first Bitcoin bank. Wright's LinkedIn page lists him as CEO of De Morgan Limited, a company whose website describes it as focused on alternative currency, next-generation banking, and reputational and educational products with a focus on security and creating a simple user experience. Among De Morgan's subsidiaries are also listed on its website are Coin, with a one spell there, that was Craig's company, and a Bitcoin wallet called CoinEx, a Bitcoin exchange, and Denarius, the aforementioned Bitcoin bank, and one of the top supercomputers in the world. Several of the emails and documents sent to Gizmodo point to a close relationship between Wright and Kleiman. A U.S. Army veteran who lived in Palm Beach County, Florida, Kleiman was confirmed to be Kleiman was confined to a wheelchair after a motorcycle accident in 1995 and became reclusive computer forensics obsessive thereafter. He died broken in squalor after suffering from infectious bed sores. His body was found decomposed and surrounded by empty alcohol bottles and a loaded handgun. Oh, I don't really want to talk too much about that. It must be quite painful. I'm sure there was they've got images further down here. There we go, look. Let's start from here. So it says it's all circumstantial evidence, but the hacked emails and other documents, if authentic, show Wright making repeated claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto over a period of years starting in 2008, before Nakamoto published the now legendary white paper introducing the world to Bitcoin. And there's more of this later, but you can see here, it says copy address, and it's got a tick here by Satoshi at vistomail.com. And there's more of a there's more of this email down there where you can actually see it. So they said, hello Andrew, it's Craig possibly. We'll see this full email in just a second. They continue saying, the most persuasive evidence from the apparently hacked account is a message dated January 8th, 2014, which shows Wright emailing 3 colleagues from Satoshi at vistomail.com, and that's the correct address. The email address that Nakamoto used to regularly communicate with early Bitcoin users and developers in this thread, with the subject line, Fear of the Future, Satoshi Nakamoto at vistomail.com, strategized about lobbying Australian Senator Arthur Sinodinos on the matter of Bitcoin. So that's the email that we just looked at here. Here we go. Hello, Senator Sinodinos. So that's the email that was sent from Satoshi Nakamoto. And so they're saying that was from Craig. But this is the email. Look. So and CC'd in are John Chester and Ramona Watts. This is Craig's wife. He said, hello Andrew. So your views, how do we get the good senator involved? Would our Japanese friend have weight coming out of retirement or not? Craig possibly. So this is Craig saying, look, should I come out from behind my pseudonym saying that I am Satoshi Nakamoto? Would that have weight? And say, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto is Craig. Would that have weight? That was 2014. The email includes a signature with the name Satoshi Nakamoto and a phone number that belongs to Craig Wright. The reply to field, which determines whether responses to the message will be sent, lists an email address that, according to Google, belongs to Craig Wright. Also included in the cache of messages is this reply to Andrew Summer, a partner at Sydney-based law firm Clayton UTZ, which represents Wright at the time of the emails. And again, they've removed that. What is it? This one here. Look, hi, John and Craig. To Craig S. Wright. Craig S. Wright. So the Craig S. Wright is there. So to John Chestnut and Craig S. Wright. And in the other one that we've just seen up here, look, Satoshi at vistomail.com. Satoshi Nakamoto in there. So that's Craig. The hacker tipster also included multiple PDF files that contain what appear to be transcripts of a meeting about Bitcoin regulation between Wright, his attorney on the Australian Tax Office, as well as the minutes of a subsequent meeting of the Australian Tax Office and Wright's attorney. Wright appears to have been trying to persuade the Australian government to treat his Bitcoin holdings as currency, as opposed to an asset subject to greater taxation. Without this regulatory move, his business interests would be scuttled. During an interlude in one such meeting, Wright makes an oddly casual admission of his identity as Satoshi, highlighted in red. So Wright said, I did my best to try and hide the fact that I've been running Bitcoin since 2009, but I think it's getting most, by the end of this, I think half the world is going to bloody know. And that was the Australian Tax Office. So, we'll have a look at what is significant. Here we go. So there's more about the Satoshi at vistomail.com. So Ramona Watts is Craig's wife, a director at his company De Morgan, and a receipt of Wright's apparent email from Satoshi at vistomail.com, reached by Gizmodo at their home in a moneyed suburb north of Sydney, and asked about Wright's role in creating Bitcoin. Watts at first only smiled, shook her head, and began to close the door. I've seen that video. When asked if Wright was the inventor of Bitcoin, she smiled coyly again and shut the door. John Cheshire was Wright's accountant, a recipient of his Satoshi email, and was present at one of the Australian tax office meetings. When reached at his apartment via intercom and asked whether he'd ever received an email from Craig Wright using the Satoshi Nakamoto email address, Cheshire responded, "I might have. That was a year ago." When asked if he had ever told the Australian tax office that Wright was in possession of the Satoshi-sized Bitcoin sum, he replied, "I may have." Well, so people have received emails from Craig using the Satoshi at vistomail.com email address. Let's have a look more, see if there's more here. Yeah, we've seen that bit. Great article, that one. So what is so important about Craig using the Satoshi at vistomail.com email address? Well, let's have a look at this. So this is who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Tag Archives Michael Weber. So the Japanese connection, here we go. Apart from the name Satoshi Nakamoto and profile information at Peer-to-Peer Foundation, the who is of Bitcoin.org also leads to Japan. The Japanese connection has confused many. So who is history at Domain Tools from 2008, that's August 19th, 2008. And then we've got domain name Bitcoin.org, created on 18th of August 2008. And then where it was registration name, so that was Anonymous Speech. And as we go down here, there will be an email address linked to the profile that the person had to purchase that email address. And there it is. Satoshi at vistomail.com. Headers in the email. That from Satoshi at vistomail.com. Tuesday, Jan 13th, 2009. There you go. Reply to Satoshi at vistomail.com from Satoshi Nakamoto. And so this is the information on the Whois database for the purchaser of Bitcoin.org, which is the email address Satoshi at vistomail.com that Craig Wright was using. And used to create his profile on anonymousspeech.com, which is massive. I'll see some more down here. Yes, so this is Michael Weber, who owned anonymousspeech.com, who took the site down when Craig was trying to prove that he created the domain name Bitcoin.org in the I think it was in the Ira Kleiman case. The website was taken down the day after Craig actually logged into it. But we've got a recorded history here of Craig using the Satoshi at vistomail.com email address that was used to purchase this domain name, Bitcoin.org. Like, absolutely massive. Like, all these people that are just saying, "Oh yeah, you know, we just can't figure out who Satoshi Nakamoto is." Well, that's pretty much all the evidence that you need. Craig had control and used the email address Satoshi at vistomail.com. There are previous historical records of him doing this with witnesses, and it was used to purchase Bitcoin.org. Absolutely crazy. And again, yeah, they were saying, "Oh yeah, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is." Absolute BS. They all know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Yeah, there were the two articles. Look, and Gizmodo is now trying to hide all the... They should say, look, here's all the evidence that Craig Wright invented Bitcoin. It should say, here's all the evidence that we're trying to hide that Craig invented Bitcoin. That should be their next article. You know, honestly. Ridiculous. Like the Australian police raiding the home of Craig Wright in relation to being the man behind the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto and creator of Bitcoin. Honestly, you know, Gavin Andresen as well. who Satoshi left the project in the hands of, saying that Craig Wright was Satoshi Nakamoto. And again, we saw an email the other day on, I think it's Coin Bureau, and when Satoshi Nakamoto said the project is in good hands with Gavin and everyone. You know, but they're trying to leave Gavin out because they don't want to listen. They don't want people to listen to Gavin when he says, "Oh yeah, it's Craig Wright that invented Bitcoin." You know, absolutely ridiculous. But there we go. Got it on a video now. Check this out. So Brian Doherty posted it. He said Q1 2025 was a game changer. From DC to the Digital New York Summit, we advanced the utility-first vision for blockchain infrastructure. Real use cases, real traction. The groundwork is set. Q2 is about to scale. Loving that. And there's another one here. Check this out. He said Certihash Sentinel node is about to cross 3 million transactions in the last 24 hours, powering one of the largest real-world enterprise use cases on the BSV blockchain. Enterprise-grade integrity at scale. Look at that Certihash. Transaction count 2,916,947. So I'm guessing that's probably going to grow, but that's huge. That's huge. Let's have a quick look at transactions here. Where are we now? Oh, look at that. 65%. 65%, representing 4,957,466 transactions in the last 24 hours. Ethereum can't get anywhere near that. And XRP, even when they tried to push it to its max, they got to 2 million transactions in 24 hours. BSV is already at almost 5 million transactions. They can't get anywhere near it. All this lot, massive market cap, complete scams. Complete scams. And I will just leave on this note. Check this out. So Bernie here has said free speech. Let me say it again. President Trump just came to the rescue of millions of ordinary British citizens, telling Starmer he can have a trade deal only when he restores freedom of speech to British citizens. Thank you, President Trump. Not even our own king has bothered to intervene. Yeah, because we know they're all part of it. Literally, just all traitors. Traitors to their own people. But there we go. Exciting stuff. We'll leave it there. So that is a quick 22-minute show. So if you enjoy these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sembi.com, handcash.io, rockwallet.me, simply.cash, related.com, or senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.